Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propaganda Review with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Covering today the latest two British commanders available with the February 25th patch. We are talking about here the Advanced Emplacement and the Mobile Assault Regiment. Ooh la la. Starting with the Advanced Emplacement Regiment, it rather does what it says on the tin. It's very much centered around the emplacements, giving access to, infantry section, being able to build emplacements, tougher emplacements, basically meaning, they can't be harmed by the small arms fire, become a bit tougher rule. Advanced assemblies, which allows them to basically function as repair stations, counter batteries, precision barrages. It's very much, the dreaded SimCity doctrine or regiment. Well, to a certain extent, it will never quite be the same as the SimCity, because the SimCity relied on one specific part, which was the British could actually move their base, integrating their headquarters within the very defence itself. This one can't, so, unless you're, for some reason, incapable of even thinking slightly flexible, it's not going to be that powerful in that sense. It's still going to be a powerful doctrine, because overall, you can set up some strong positions using this, but at the same time, it will never be a SimCity. So there's some slightly important details there. If you sort of look at it, it's an interesting doctrine, but I don't think it's quite the big boogeyman as some is making out to. It's going to be worse in team games, of course, where they can sort of more carry up than for sort of players sitting down a bit. But at the same time, I feel it's sort of the doctrine that, it requires you to sort of play to an extent very actively. If you sort of lose control of the fight there, this doctrine will then all of a sudden lose a lot of potency, because it's really the sort of doctrine that doesn't allow you to act or react much. You're very much dependent on getting the most out of the emplacements and controlling your opponent via those emplacements. If you fail, or your opponent somehow outplays you, the doctrine, the regiment, loses a lot of strength there. So in that sense, it requires basically a strong player or weak opponents. In between, this doctrine or regiment might not quite be as strong as you might hope. But again, it's not bad. I just think it requires more sort of specific players or not too specific opponents, to sort of put it like that. Because again, the only thing you can sort of use maybe a bit more flexibly is counter battery and precision barrages. The other ones require a lot more to them. So it's, again, I don't quite think it's the boogeyman, as some players would like to make it out to be. But again, that's not to say, you should take it lightly. Just, once you understand it, you can probably deliver some swift blows here and there. Overall, speed, aggression, perhaps it's about your Wehrmacht, just trying to ignore it and sort of strike, for example, at the base or the weak points, for example, is going to be your sort of key priority, or just getting a lot of artillery down on it. Obviously, though, that's also going to be a bit tricky with the advanced assembly, though. Target that one, and of course, you'll bring the rest down. So, those are some thoughts there. Overall, good one. In particular, do like emplacements. This isn't going to be a bad thing, though. Again, it will to a certain extent leave you a bit less flexible. And if you can't afford it, you just really want to wait, for example, after the patch there or something like that. Royal Engineer is not half bad either. It does some of the things here again, to a certain extent. It is a bit more flexible, so, this one just goes really hard down on just the emplacement themselves, whereas this one does offer a bit more. Besides, yes, the emplacement, of course, it doesn't quite, grant them certain things, but yeah. So that's that, I really think. So we'll move on here to Mobile Assault. I think that one's really the better of the two, also the one to be more worried about, but again, not super potent. You get flamethrowers for the sappers, that one's nasty. 4-man sapper teams to be upgraded to 5-man teams to get some really powerful bonuses. As the game mentioned, so you can be upgraded to heavy engineers. Now flamethrowers. Yeah, that's a bit dangerous. Advanced cover combat, thankfully an active ability. Haven't seen much use, but I do think if properly utilised, this is actually a quite potent ability using your infantry sections. Should not be ignored. Infiltration commandos. You pay the exact same thing as Fallschirmjägers. The difference is the Fallschirmjägers have not quite as great grenades. They have Blendkörpers, they have better veterans. The commandos have, the ambush bonus. The Irish accent. The much better grenade. Really cheaper. And just wipes so much better. Of course, they also like anti-tank. But overall, a pretty good ability. If you act as opponent, light vehicles, or mining any sort of suspicious entrances, or just burning down the entire place, will work out quite well for you. Then, of course, you get the land mattress, unique in its support weapon that requires fuel, so that's a little thing there to keep in mind. But overall, can fire rockets and can fire white phosphorus rockets. I mean, really, it's a nice little piece that does have, of course, some weakness. Again, it's rather slow, so if you can sort of catch up with it, you can murder the crew and then wreck the team weapon. In that sense, it does stand out a bit there, and has some weaknesses, but again, it can be really nasty. And of course, get vehicle crew repairs. I mean, in that sense, if you can't compare this to, of course, again, advanced emplacement, and this one is a lot more sort of flexible. I mean, it has a sort of specific playstyle. Again, that's aggressive. This one sort of emplacement, but this one aggressive, attacking. But again, it has a lot more approaches to it. Flamethrowers, advanced cover combat, commandos. I mean, you can boost your sappers, your regular infantry sections. You can call in elite troops to support you. You get artillery, and you get vehicle crew repairs, which also allows you to play more aggressively with the vehicles. Then pull them back, pop that one, get them fixed without having to, manage infantry units to repair them, and then push again. So, I mean, really, this one's a lot more potent, a lot more, just better overall, I'd say, and also one I'd probably be more worried about. I mean, it's obviously not omnipotent, but it's good. It's probably also the one that stands out to me more about from the British, because it really has a lot of the abilities in the early game, whereas most British tend to sort of be more late game and not so much, combined abilities, except in this case, real crew repairs. So, I mean, really strong doctrine for the British player who wants to be aggressive. And really, if you want to be aggressive, Mobile Assault Regiment is really where you want to go, and I can definitely recommend it to any aggressive British player. And just having it there, I think, could actually work quite nicely, because it's going to keep any Axis player to have a bit cautious. Could I have to worry about commandos or land mattresses and so on there? So I mean, it's pretty good, really. And I certainly have no issues there, sort of recommending to anyone who wants it. This one again, bit more expertise, bit more actual understanding of emplacements, how to use them properly. Don't just place one, expect that to win the war, or just clump them together, have a few here and there. Use infantry to maneuver between them and sort of hit here and there. That way. Again, not weak, but not super strong, and again, it has some specific weaknesses, and it very much requires sort of understanding of its play. Otherwise, it's a doctrine that once put outside, sort of utility, can extend be very much hard to push back into the game. Whereas again, this one is just flexible, strong and flexible. So I think that sort of covers the review of these two regiments. Good, but in the different ways, and one with some particular weaknesses. Whereas this one again, obviously has some, but they aren't quite as specific, as quite as tangible as Advanced Emplacement Regiment. So there you go. Hopefully this enlightened you, giving you some ideas how to use these, and of course how to fight them, because again, by also listing the weaknesses, I mean, I hopefully should be giving some ideas how to players how to fight these. And again, this one, I mean, it's very much infantry centric, and again, the commanders, are 4-man compared to the other commanders. I mean, they can be quickly targeted down, and obviously mining and so on, they're keeping vehicles sort of covered against such moves there. Can of course do a lot to sort of quickly bleed them out. I mean, they are expensive at 440 manpower. So, I mean, those are some things there to keep in mind. But again, hopefully this is giving you better ideas and ideas. If you actually want to get these commanders or not. Personally, I'm a lot more likely to get Mobile Assault Regiment than, say, Advanced Emplacement Regiment. Advanced Emplacement's just not really my playstyle, whereas Mobile Assault's just really, that is good. Much more up my alley. So that's also, I think, something there to keep in mind. They just sort of further thought from me. But again, hopefully this will help you. Again, gives you a better idea how to use them, fight against them, and of course, perhaps gain an idea if you want to purchase them or not. So if it has you, feel free to like, subscribe, share, and so on. And this is Imperial Engine. Cheers, and signing off. See you another time. Bye.